If you watch my upcoming Nintendo Switch games for the month of July video, you would know that a game that I was looking forward to was actually at the start of this month, and that was Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition. Now this is a game I never played. It released about 10 years ago on the Xbox 360, and while I played the original Red Faction game, I never played this game. This game did seem pretty cool though. It was a third-person perspective game, and it was sort of an open-world element to it as well. This game actually released on the PS4, Xbox One, and Steam last year with a Remastered Edition, which is basically just a play on words of Remastered Edition, and now it's come over to the Nintendo Switch. So I was hoping that this game would be pretty fun. It looked pretty cool, and maybe this would be a game I enjoyed. Then I saw THQ Nordic was bringing the game to the Switch, and well, the last THQ Nordic game I played wasn't all that great, and that was Saints Row 3. I thought the core game itself was very fun. It was just the performance issues on the Nintendo Switch made me a bit leery that maybe this game would have those some sort of things going on with it as well. So I've been playing a bunch of Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition for the Switch, and I definitely have a lot of things to say about it. So what is Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition? Is this a game you should check out? And is this a game that you'll enjoy? That's what we're going to figure out in this video. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into the world of Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my god, it's Stevie Richards! So Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition starts out with you playing as a character named Alec, and basically you go to Mars to start a new life and reunite with your brother, Dan. But Dan is kind of a bit of a rebel because there's some sketchy things going on Mars. Basically, the Earth Defense Force is pretty much taking over Mars, and they're not being very humanitarian towards the people on Mars, and they're basically making it a place that's not very enjoyable. So Dan is very outspoken against the Earth Defense Force, and well, Dan pays a price for that when you get to Mars. So now you join the Red Faction, which is basically this guerrilla team, this resistance team that is fighting against the Earth Defense Force and basically trying to take it over so that Mars is a great place once again for people to inhabit and people that are living there can enjoy their lives. Honestly, the story, it's not all that great. Like, there's not that whole bunch of things going on with it. Once you join the Red Faction, you basically just do different missions to sort of liberate these areas and basically get the Earth Defense Force out of these areas, so on and so forth. You do meet some side characters along the way. There are a few twists and turns along the way, but honestly the story, it's just not very gripping. And one thing that I noticed with the story is during the cutscenes don't seem to be remastered, and this was something that I saw with Devil May Cry on the Nintendo Switch as well. The cutscenes just sort of feel out of place when you compare it to the rest of the graphics of the game. And another thing I noticed in the cutscenes is the audio levels are kind of all over the place. Sometimes characters are really loud for no reason, and sometimes they're a bit quiet. So the story of the game, it's not all that great, but honestly I didn't care that much about the story of the game because all the positive things that I heard about Red Faction was the fact that the gameplay was just so good. And honestly, the gameplay absolutely kicks ass. You're pretty much thrust into this area where you start to learn how you're going to play this game. And one of the main things you have to do is take out various places of Earth Defense Force. Basically, their buildings, their towers, their structures, the way that they keep this stronghold on the Mars is basically what you are tasked with taking out. You start out with the sledgehammer, so if you ever wanted to be like Triple H, you could basically be Triple H. It's all about the game and how you play it. So that's pretty cool, and this sledgehammer isn't really a standard sledgehammer. It can do a lot of damage, and you can actually take out full buildings and other structures with this sledgehammer. But as you play through the game, of course, you unlock more things. Now, when you're taking out these buildings and destroying things, you're getting salvage, and the salvage could then be used to get different weapons and different upgrades for your character. And that's really where the game starts to get very fun because of the upgrades that you could do for your character. You could do different things like different weapons, different abilities for your character. You can make your character run faster, you can have a heal bubble, you can get cool weapons like rocket launchers and more proximity mines, and even things that completely just disintegrate pieces of the building and characters that you're fighting against. So I really like the weapon system of the game. I think it's really fun, and it keeps you wanting to progress through the game because as you play through the game more and more, you start to unlock more abilities and more things for your character, and of course more weapons as well. You can also increase the amount of ammo you can carry for certain weapons as well, so it's very, very cool. And then we're getting into the destruction element of the game, and holy crap, like this physics engine is absolutely mind-blowing. And you gotta remember, this physics engine is like 10 years old, but I can't think of a game that has as good destruction physics as this game does. Even games like Mercenaries, which I really enjoyed playing back in the day because of the destruction elements of the game, it can't hold a candle to this. Like I said, you're constantly taking out bigger buildings and bigger structures in the game, and you could do it in a variety of ways. You could do it with your sledgehammer and hack piece by piece piece and different structures and different pieces of the structures in order to bring it down to the ground. Or you can use your weapons, you can use different vehicles, you can take tanks and just run them into the side of the building and blow a huge hole in it, throw your proximity mines and go kaboom, and the action is just so fast-paced and frantic as you're doing it, and it's just so satisfying to bring these buildings crumbling down, and the way that they crumble down upon you or crumble in the distance if you're doing it from a long range thing, it's just so satisfying, and it never got boring to me. And of course, it's good to take down these buildings because you're getting salvage, and when you get this salvage, you can then turn that salvage into more upgrades for your character. So as you're playing the game and destroying more and more stuff, you're actually upgrading your character as well, so it keeps things fresh. Even when you start to get bored, the game throws different mechanics at you. Like you start having to deal with airplanes that are coming after you. You get this thing called a walker, which is like a small Metal Gear that you can just ram through buildings with and take out waves of enemies with. It's just so satisfying, and how much fun the gameplay is, that really is the star of the show for me. I never really got bored with destroying buildings and getting salvage and stuff. There are main missions that are like liberation missions that are basically story missions that progress the game and progress you through these areas, because what you're trying to do is there's basically different sections of the map that you have to liberate from the EDF's reigns, and the way you do that is by destroying structures, doing side missions, and of course doing core missions as well. And the core missions are pretty fun. There's some decent variety in there, but really most of the time I was just driving around looking for like EDF buildings, and I was like, all right, we're gonna take out this building now, and just figuring out a way to take down this building without dying. There of course is gunplay in the game as well, and the gunplay is okay. I wouldn't say it's necessarily good, I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad, it's just sort of in the middle. The default controls feel a bit slick for me. I felt like I didn't have great control of my aim at first until I got used to it and then adjusted the controls a little bit to meet my tailored needs for this shooting in the game, but I do like the variety of guns that you get. You get different stuff like pistols, like I said, you get rocket launchers, you can of course loot your bodies that you are piling up in this game and get more ammunition for your guns. There's assault rifles, all sorts of fun stuff. It's just not really as satisfying as the destruction elements are in the game, but then you can just take a tank and run over everyone and get them out of your way if you want to. I will say the missions do kind of drag on from time to time, and a lot of the side missions are just sort of the same thing over and over again. You gotta rescue some hostages, you gotta track a vehicle and then kill the vehicle driver to get some information that's going on that'll be pertinent to your cause. Basically, it's the same sort of side missions over and over again, so it can be a little bit taxing in that regard. It's not like all the side missions are very unique to one another, but I still like going around and doing these side missions because it allows you to get more salvage, which makes your character better. You can also find ore deposits on the map that are basically just like a great way to get a lot of fast salvage so that you can level up your character very fast. But really, the gameplay mechanics are just so much fun, and the destruction elements are so much fun that it just kept me wanting to play the game more and more. The building mechanics definitely play into the graphics of the game as well, as you're able to break piece by piece if you want to, or just destroy everything at your free will with a more explosive weapon or something like that. And I really like the way everything flows. Even when it gets super chaotic, like the game doesn't seem to hiccup or anything like that. There is some draw distance when you're driving around, and some of the driving stuff is a bit boring as you're on Mars. There's a lot of same color palettes being used, a lot of reds and browns. There is an oasis area that tries to spruce it up a bit with some greens and some vegetation or stuff, but sometimes when you're driving around it's just like boring wasteland of just Mars and like deserts and stuff like that, so that is a bit disappointing. But I think once you start blowing up buildings and getting into interactions with different enemies and stuff like that, it really does look very good. What's cool about this game is, like a lot of games that are starting to come out, there is a high performance and a high graphics mode. I played 99% of the game in high performance mode, but I did want to check out high graphics mode just to see what the difference was. Now what's interesting is you can only use high graphics mode when you're playing docked, and while playing it docked and using high graphics mode, you definitely notice that the frame rate is a lot slower. I believe the frame rate is fluctuating when you're in high performance mode, pretty much at 60, maybe with some dips here and there depending on what's going on, but it definitely feels about half that when you're in high graphics mode. It could be about 30 frames per second, I don't know, I don't have like a way to test that or anything. I'm just sort of going on other games that I played, but I do notice that there's more particle effects and there's more lighting and there's just cleaner textures when you are playing in high graphics mode. That's not to say high performance mode looks bad or anything like that, because it actually looks very good. It's just the high graphics mode does have a little bit more graphical fidelity. On the sound side of things, there is full voice acting in the game. There's not a whole lot of music. Explosions sound really nice. It's nothing, you know, groundbreaking or anything like that, but it is decent. Now, aside from the main campaign in the game, there are also bonus missions that you can play as well, and there's actually an online multiplayer. Unfortunately, I was not able to check out the online multiplayer because there's nobody playing the game right now. It does not come out until July 2nd, so I wasn't able to check that out. But there are a lot of different modes in online multiplayer, so I am curious to see what these modes are going to do and how it's going to play on the Nintendo Switch. I know Evan from the Spawncast said that he used to play this game on PC and really enjoyed the online multiplayer. He was kind of addicted to it for a while, so I'll definitely update you guys on social media once I'm able to play the online multiplayer stuff to see if it's good or if it's bad, how it runs and all that sort of stuff. So if you don't follow the Facebook page or follow me on Twitter, make sure you check out the links in the description box down below and go ahead and remedy that. But all in all, this game really surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy this game as much as I have, and the craziest thing is it's a $30 game. Like, even if this game didn't have online multiplayer, I definitely think it's worth $30 or $40 just as a single player experience. It's so much fun destroying stuff. It looks great in handheld mode and it runs smooth in handheld mode as well. It's just a very well done game, and the Nintendo Switch port of this game is very impressive. We've seen some kind of shoddy Nintendo Switch ports lately, and I was worried that Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition may be another one of those, but honestly, they knocked it out of the park with this game. If you like open world games and you like blowing crap up, definitely check out this game. Like I said, it's $30, and it's definitely worth $30, if not more, in my opinion. I actually have a physical copy pre-ordered at GameStop, and I'm still going to go ahead and pick it up just because I'm enjoying the game so much, and it'll be good to have to my collection. But those are my thoughts on Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition. Let me know in the comments section down below if you plan on playing this game, or if you played it on the PS4, the Xbox One, or if you played it back in the day on the Xbox 360, and what you thought of the game. Because honestly, this physics engine is just literally still blowing my mind. Why does every game not use this physics engine? Like, just use it. It's absolutely phenomenal. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel. There will be some less videos this week on the channel, as it is my birthday this week, so I have a lot of things going on. So there will still be videos, but maybe not every day, maybe every other day or something like that. So don't worry, I'm still around, I'm still alive, just taking a little time off. And as always, guys, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.